Hi, and welcome back to another episode of O'Fallon Life on Air, O'Fallon's premier and still only podcast, so that's why you're here listening today to us. And we have a special guest here. We have a special time of year, which is Heritage and Freedom Festival. Every July here at O'Fallon, we shut down Ozzie Smith Sports Complex and turned into the region's largest Independence Day celebration. And with me today is Jennifer Hoisington, Festivals Manager for the City of O'Fallon, who orchestrates this entire thing from start to finish. So thank you, Jennifer, for being here with us today. And I look forward to all the information you're going to be able to share with all of our viewers and listeners about what they can expect this July as we celebrate America's birthday.
Well, thank you for having me.
Right.
So
this is the theme this year. Every year we have a different theme. This year's theme is
a milestone in the making. So we are working right alongside the National American 250 logo and also their slogan.
All right. Give us a large 30,000-foot overview of what Heritage and Freedom Fest is, and we affectionately here at the city just refer to as HFF. So if you hear us say HFF, that's what we're talking about.
Yes. So we do shorten that up. It is a mouthful, so HFF. The overscale of it is a community event for not just O'Fallon, but for everyone in the surrounding cities and counties. We invite all to come. It is a free event. It lasts over 4 days. There's carnival. There is food and beverage providers. There is live main stage entertainment and sideshows. So, and we cannot forget about the fireworks and the parade that takes place. So that's the overarching view.
All right. So this year for the Freedom Fest, it's July 1st through the 4th.
Correct.
The last several years, it started years and years ago as a 2-day festival.
Correct.
Then moved to 3.
Yes.
And now we're at 4.
Yes.
Do you ever think we'll get to 5, or we're just like, we're maxed, we're done?
I think we're going to be maxed at 4,
Okay.
for 4 days for a while.
All right.
So unless we get a lot more staff and a lot more ground.
Fair enough. Okay, so July 1st, what are we looking at? Let's just start from go on the calendar here, July 1st. What do we see?
So on the 1st, I really like to call this the carnival kickoff. It's just a softer opening. It is just the carnival that is going to be open that night. It's generally a little bit lighter crowds just because not all the other pieces are going yet. So that starts at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it will go until 10 o'clock in the evening.
Would you invite families out to that? Like
Absolutely.
Little ones, it's not going to be as crowded, as noisy.
Correct. So if there's somebody who prefers, smaller crowds, not quite as much noise going on or sounds, that would definitely be the time to do it. If you're looking just to really take on those rides and the games, that's the night to do it.
Okay. All right, July 2nd, family night.
Yes. So things will start picking up a little bit more on July 2nd. So we do lovingly call that family night. It is still with the carnival in full swing. We will start having those vendors open that will be selling additional food and beverage outside of what the carnival is doing. So a bit more variety there. And then you're going to get into those merchandise vendors. We'll start getting into our sideshows, and our entertainment alley will be open at that time. So, but on the 2nd, we're still dark on the stage. That's not ready to go just yet.
So main stage entertainment concerts are no on the 1st and 2nd. So
Correct.
Carnival kickoff and family night, and no fireworks.
Correct.
Either one of those nights.
That's correct.
Okay. You mentioned entertainment alley. What is that?
So that is just an opportunity where we have some interactive pieces. We have something called the Monster Mural, where it is actually a very large-scale mural that can be colored on with our, erasable markers. And it actually is a mural of O'Fallon and the different events that we put on, and maybe some of those iconic pieces like the city's rotunda or Zumwalt's fort, those types of things. Then there's also pieces such as we have a chainsaw carver who's coming, who will be designing a sculpture each day. And then we also have a brick artist who is coming and is designing a mosaic for us, but it's going to be crowd interactive, so it's not one individual person who's putting this together, but it's an entire community putting this together. So I'm really excited about that piece.
By bricks, I'm assuming you don't mean clay bricks that we would build a house out of.
No, they're going to be more of your Lego style bricks. And the mosaic will be put together individually in 5x5 square tiles. So a patron will come up, they will say, I would like to participate and build this brick, and they will receive a 5x5 tile with the instructions, all of the bricks, and a picture of what that is to look like.
Okay.
So once they follow those directions and they've completed their brick, they will then hand it back to the volunteer. And the volunteer, everything is number associated. So if they chose they wanted to do tile number 5, they completed tile number 5, and when they put it on the board, they just filled in that 5x5 section of number 5. So once all of those, let's say 1 through 56 or whatever the number comes out to, gets placed, it will create a giant mosaic, and it's going to be a mosaic stating America 250 with the City Hall Rotunda on it as well.
And how large is the whole thing once it's finished?
The whole thing is going to be closer to approximately 3 feet by, I want to say 5 feet.
Okay.
So, and then the ultimate plan is to hang that within City Hall as part of our art collection.
All right, wow. So Entertainment Alley itself is on T.R. Hughes Boulevard,
Yes.
correct? Okay, so that's that stretch right there when you enter the fairgrounds is Entertainment
Correct.
Alley. So you'll find all these things, the chainsaw sculptor, the interactive brick design,
Yes.
and all that. Okay. The chainsaw sculptor, what? You said 3 days?
Correct.
Okay,
so
second, third, and fourth.
The second, the third, and the fourth, and he will be working in couple-hour increments, and we'll put that time up on our website, and then also on our main stage, we have a billboard, a digital billboard that will rotate all the activities that are taking place, more of informational pieces for everyone. So so he'll be on and off a couple of different times throughout the day, and at the end of the day, he will have a completed project.
And do we know what the 3 pieces are?
Not
Do you know?
yet.
Okay.
Not
All
yet.
right.
We are still in the process of discussing all of that, but he knows that we are looking for something more patriotic.
Sure.
So probably one day would be something maybe more whimsical, but on the 4th, I would like to see something a little bit more patriotic. He's pretty amazing what he can do.
And where do these sculptures go after the festival?
So we get to keep one of them,
Okay.
and so I'll be working with our cultural arts specialist to discuss where we can potentially put this piece that we will acquire from
All right.
it.
Very
Yes.
cool. And then the Army, United States Army, will be here with their adventure semi-trailer.
Yes.
Tell us
yes. So this is an opportunity where people can go into this the back end of a semi-truck, and it is fully interactive. I know in the past there has been some of those like virtual reality as to where it looks like you may be climbing a rope or doing training or jumping out of an airplane or whatever the case may be. So it's an opportunity to kind of get a feel for what it is that the military does for us and what they go through for their training and an educational piece, but really more of that hands-on versus somebody just talking to you about it.
Okay.
So
And on Entertainment Alley, I'm not sure that you might know the dates, but the police department,
Yes.
PD, will have their dunk tank there
Yes.
on the Entertainment Alley, and you can have a chance at certain times to dunk Frank Manini, the police chief,
yes.
elected council members from
Yes.
your ward, and
mayor.
Mayor Bill Hennessy will be in there once again this year. So,
Yes.
go by that, take your chance. Donations go to a charitable cause for them. but get a chance to dunk them. And I'm pretty
Yes.
sure every kid, regardless if you hit the target or not,
Yes.
gets a chance to dunk.
Yes, yes, they do. And it is a big hit every year. And there is always a line of
Right.
kiddos. And it's really fun to watch the little ones get to move up a little bit closer. And if they miss, just
Sure.
go up and hit it.
Do you get in the dunk tank?
I do not.
No?
No,
All right.
I do not. But I sometimes walk by it when I'm really, really hot and hoping to be splashed.
All right, so all the things we've talked about so far, which is a lot of things to do, it doesn't even get us into the real heart of the Freedom Fest, which is the 3rd and 4th.
Yes.
So July 3rd, Friday night, is Country Night.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So Country Night will kick off at 4 o'clock, and that is our late night, and we will go until 11 o'clock that evening. So the stage will start going live late afternoon, and it'll just keep ramping up hour by hour until we get closer to those headliners. We have Low Cash, who will be starting off as one of our co-headliners. Okay. And then we will finish the evening with Lauren Elena. And then we get into those fireworks right after she hits her last note, and that's about 10:15.
All right.
And then the fireworks go for a good 15, close to 20 minutes at that point.
Then they shoot off from Westhoff Park.
Correct.
So there's always questions of where do I need to be? Where are they going to be shooting from? So if you're at the concert, you're at the Ozzie Smith, they'll be coming from Westhoff.
That is correct.
Look towards the south, and that's where they'll be coming from.
Yes.
All right, and then between Country Night on the 3rd and then Rock Night on the 4th, it's a quick turnaround to July 4th morning here on Main Street. Tell us about the annual 4th of July parade.
Yes, so a very quick turnaround for staff especially. So we will start our parade, and it kicks off at 9:30 in the morning. And it starts at City Hall, so off of Main and Civic Park Drive, and the front entrance into City Hall. So we will start off with National Anthem, and making sure that we salute the colors, and then we'll go ahead and kick right off. It is a 2-mile parade route. Like I said, it starts at City Hall. It will continue north until you get to Tom Ginnever, and then you turn right on Tom Ginnever, and it goes down approximately another mile, and will end at T.R. Hughes Boulevard.
Right at the entrance to
Right at the entrance to Heritage and Freedom Fest, which will open up about the same time that the parade will end. So convenience.
Who's in the parade?
There is a variety of people who are in the parade. Of course, our mayor's in the parade. I think it's one of his favorite pieces of Heritage and Freedom Fest. Our elected officials, we have a lot of different non-for-profit organizations that would include scouting troops. It will get into a variety of different churches. There's one church that always just knocks it out of the park every year. We are starting to see more golf cart entries being decorated, which I'm really excited about. It's something that I was trying to get going about 5 years ago, and it is slowly starting to catch up. There will be marching bands as well, and we started incorporating some balloons last year, and we'll be continuing that with a little bit of a different, this year. We're going with a cold air balloon, and it will be a salute to the America 250 birthday.
All right.
And that's the only little hint that I'm going to give to you.
But I got to look up what cold air balloons means. I don't. So
it's instead of helium.
Okay. All right.
Instead of helium, it is cold air.
All right.
So
a little bit of a twist on that from last year. That was the first year we had walking balloons.
Yes.
I think the way you've grown HFF overall over the years, we'll probably be looking at like Macy's Day Parade balloons at some point. Knowing Jennifer Hoisington, she will have a Snoopy or something like that.
We will we will continue to enhance the balloon. Yes.
Very good. So you got the parade that morning, kicks off at 9:30 here on Main Street, and you can go straight over to the fairgrounds.
Yes.
It opens at noon on July 4th for Rock Night. Tell us about Rock Night.
So Rock Night is when really everything, I mean, we are already in full gear, but it is the 4th. It has a totally different vibe to it. And we do have that longevity of the day because it does start at noon and it continues until 10 o'clock in the evening. Our stage will start coming up sooner on the 4th than it would on the 3rd because we are open earlier. We do have our parade awards that will go on in between some of our opening acts. And then the stage really starts coming up. And then, our headliner this year is Kansas. And I have heard a lot of excited people about Kansas
There's
coming.
a lot of rumblings around town about that.
Yes, there is. So usually if people ask me, who's coming? The second I say that, they're like, their eyes get big.
Yeah.
And then it's usually followed by, really?
Right.
I said, yes.
It'll be a good show.
It will be a good show.
The entire thing, all the acts, all the things you have planned for us this year, I think are top notch. Probably one of the best years we'll have, as long as the weather holds out. But it's going to be hot. We know that it's going to be July.
Yes.
There's a chance of rain, but that doesn't really stop.
No.
So we'll keep going through all that and have a great time celebrating Independence Day. So fireworks on the 4th.
Yes.
What time? About
9:30.
Okay.
9:30.
And same location, Westhoff Park, so to speak, looking towards the south if you're at the fairgrounds for those.
Yes.
And also one thing we would probably should mention is they're shot off at Westhoff Park. We try to get this information out every year.
Yes.
There's an overpass right there on T.R. Hughes
Correct.
over the railroad tracks where the fireworks are fired off from. That has to be closed for 30 minutes following the last firework, correct?
Before and after.
Before and after.
Right. It is a safety protocol
This
that
is not a
is
Jennifer
required.
Hoisington rule.
No, it
This
is.
a fire
It is
code.
not my rule. Right. It is a fire code, and it is also standard practice for the fireworks company. And the reason for this is they're loading the shells at that time. And they're going to be activating those shells to be live and ready to go. And we don't want anything to potentially misfire during that process. And 30 minutes after, it allows for anything that may not have gone off to get deactivated or realize that there is one that has not gone off, and it gets released and shot off. So it is a very big safety reason.
Sure.
We don't want anybody getting hurt. We know it is the end of the night and people want to leave, but we do need to have safety first.
Yeah, I think if you've been there at the end of the fireworks, you see a mass of people that are wanting to go home.
Yes.
And they're like, I just need to go. My car's over there. I got to just walk over that bridge. But no, you need to wait the 30 minutes. We understand there's an inconvenience and
Yes.
can be frustrating at the end of the night. But like you said, it's a safety issue.
It definitely is a
If one of these
safety
firework
issue.
shells fell onto the roadway but didn't go off in the air like it's supposed to,
Correct.
we don't need anybody walking or driving
In that
over
area
shell,
at
right?
all.
So the O'Fallon Fire Department does a great job. They
Yes.
go over and inspect the overpass before they make the all clear to let people go. So just, I guess, a word of advice, just give your
Right.
staff some grace a little bit and patience with that. So,
Yes.
all right, I think you mentioned this earlier. Everything these 4 days, free to get in,
Free.
and no admission. Obviously, there's carnival rides, and you can buy tickets for that. How do you
Yes.
buy tickets for the carnival rides?
So you'll be able to get onto the city's website, heritageandfreedomfest.com, and under the things to do and entertainment tabs, you'll be able to find the carnival. And there's a link right there as soon as you open up that page, and it will take you directly to where the carnival tickets are sold from. Everything is done electronically now. Carnival is cashless, including food and beverage this year. So The games are the only piece that are still cash, but everything else is cashless. And you will get your voucher online when you get up onto festival grounds. You will just turn that in, and it'll get you the wristband that you need, and everything is taken by the wristband. Okay. So there's also going to be kiosks on the festival grounds, and so anybody who wants to purchase on the day of, they will just be able to walk up to a kiosk, go ahead and do their transaction there.
Are they available for purchase yet?
They will be available June 1st.
June 1st. So
June 1st.
June 1st, you can start buying your wristbands
Correct.
for HFF, for rides.
Correct. And it will be at a discounted rate until June 30th.
Okay.
But once the event opens up on July 1st, everything would be then purchased on site.
Okay.
And that price goes up.
All right. But concerts are free. Parking is free. There is VIP parking for pay, but overall there's parking.
Correct.
And shuttles available.
Correct.
There's ADA parking and shuttles available for that as well. So overall, this is a great community event.
Yes.
That the city puts on, and everybody from the surrounding areas comes in for.
Yes.
I can't imagine why you wouldn't spend at least one day or two up here celebrating. So. Food you can purchase, you said. Food, I'm imagining all the carnival foods you can eat.
Yes.
Anything fried will
Anything
be
fried.
available.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of corn dogs and funnel cake available, and then a variety of other cuisine as well.
Yeah, you got beer vendors, cocktail vendors, water, all that kind of stuff available. But can folks bring in their own food and drinks?
Technically, you can.
Okay.
You can bring in a cooler. The disclaimer is absolutely no glass whatsoever. That, once again, is a safety issue, not only for the people who are around you, but also the staff. Staff has a large cleanup job at the end of every night, and we don't want anybody getting cut on broken glass. Okay. So also, the coolers are subject to search if necessary. We feel we need to for some reason. That is also part of it.
All right. And then we mentioned it's July.
It is
high
hot.
potential for heat. There's a cooling tent.
Yes.
Tell us about that if residents needed that.
So there is a green space area up on the main festival grounds, and you will find a very large, like 40 by 60 air-conditioned tent there. You do have the ability to go in there at any time. Take a break from the weather. There's chairs available. Sit down, cool off for a few minutes, and then, get back at it if you're ready to go.
All right. And when we talk about, again, heat and safety and making sure everybody's having a great time, but doing so in a healthy, safe manner.
Yes.
The O'Fallon Police Department has a large command post right there on TR Hughes, and it's staffed. Police are walking around the entire time, monitoring everything, helping out where they can. But also St. Charles County Ambulance District has a large command post and a side-by-side little gator thing that they can get
like
around.
A Polaris type
Yeah, they get around.
style.
And so if there's a heat issue or an injury, they're on scene already to take care of all that. And any kind of minor nicks or scrapes they can probably help with. So you guys do a great job of, I think, preparing for the worst and enjoying the best of it.
Right.
Tell us a little bit. There's a lot of staff that goes into this, but tell us about the volunteers.
The volunteers, we could not do this event without them. There are hundreds of volunteers who end up working over those 4 days. And very grateful that the city has a volunteer services department, and the fact that 3 full-time people take on all the volunteer positions within the city itself is really amazing. But they really, really help us out with Heritage and Freedom Fest. Like I said, it's hundreds of positions. And a lot of that has to do with our shuttles that we provide from Westhoff Park. And that area is reserved for our ADA compliant. They drive shuttles that wheelchairs can just drive right onto. So we do have the ability to do that, and nobody has to transfer their weight. It gets staff up to the festival grounds, all the other volunteers up to the festival grounds, and our vendors gets them up to the festival grounds because we do ask them to park further away while they're on the festival grounds working. So that is a very big part of it. And then the parade is another big piece where we do need a lot of volunteers to be able to get everybody lined up and get them in their proper places, answer any questions, and have everybody ready to go when it's time to go. Yeah.
All right. So that's volunteers, and we've had Nikki and Katie in here a while back talking about that. Now we got Hunter, I think you said that 3-person team.
Yes.
Managing hundreds of volunteers and thousands of hours of volunteer work that these folks do every year. And a big one is HFF. But what about your staff? Like, tell me, this is your moment to speak to them. Speak to them a little ahead of time. It's June, as we got a few weeks out.
Yes.
So what do you want to say to them as they continue to prepare for this?
So I like to refer to our staff as small but mighty. There's 3 of us full-time who work on all of these events, and we all have very large pieces of the pie, as I call it, for Heritage and Freedom Fest. It's an adrenaline rush, honestly. Once you start seeing everything that you have been working on for months or almost a year at this point start coming to life. I think one of my favorite pieces also is watching the reactions of people as they're having fun on the rides or eating something that is just off the wall, or getting that ice cream that they always wait for. So staff is ready to go. They have got their tennis shoes and they're ready to start running. So it is action-packed for 4 days, and then we sleep for 2.
That was going through my head. At what point each evening do you finally take a breath? Is it when the fireworks are going off, I can take a breath, or is it when the park's empty and it's midnight?
Well, I can only speak for myself because I'm sure everybody, like I said, everybody has a different piece of the pie as to when their portion starts and ends. And for me, it's that little bit of a break in between the parade and the festival actually starting. But for me, honestly, once those fireworks are off and I said go for the fireworks to actually be starting, then I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm done. And people are like, do you watch the fireworks? And I'm like, I do for a few minutes. And then I sit. I sit.
I bet these are long days. And even after it's over there at the park, our parks crew comes in, that army of parks workers.
Yes.
And they're cleaning.
Yes.
And by the time the next morning comes, it looks like nothing happened and they're ready to go again. So when all the staff work and everything that goes on, when do you start setting up, and then when is tear down? July 4th, fireworks are over. It's not over for you.
No, it is not. We will actually start marking out and pre-staging things that Friday going into the week of the 4th of July, the Friday previous. Then everything really starts loading in on June 29th and June 30th. And we'll keep pushing all the way up into the hour before we open on July 1st. So there's a lot of behind-the-scenes pieces that will be taking place the week prior. We're already starting to stage things within our office that we know we're going to need for the event, because we pretty much load out rooms worth of supplies that we need and move them over to the Ozzie Smith Sports Complex. Teardown will start taking place on that Sunday. So we will start
On the 5th.
On the 5th, yeah. And we probably get at it by 8 a.m. 8 a.m. So
And when will we shut down TR Hughes? We'll send a notice out, put that
yes,
on social media and everything. We'll
yeah,
shut down the road when?
on the 30th of June.
The 30th.
So that is a Tuesday.
When will we open it back up?
We will open it up by noon on the 5th.
Okay, so by noon on the 5th.
The
It's
entire roadway
It's over.
that is
It's
closed down on TR Hughes Boulevard with all of those tables and tents and chairs and, hands-on activity, light towers, generators, gone.
And the morning of July 6th, that Monday morning, do you guys start decorating Zumwalt Park for Celebration of Life? Is that kind of how?
No, not exactly.
Okay.
We'll be finishing off a few things, cleaning up, but it will shortly follow.
Right.
Yes, Christmas lights shortly follow.
Yeah. So, I mean, and with that, you have a small, mighty team.
Small but mighty team.
You guys do a lot. You not only do you have HFF coming up, in a short time from now, but you also have Jammin' kicked off at the very end of May.
Yes.
And that's going. That's going during HFF. You have Food Truck Frenzy that just occurred at Sports Park. This is not a one.
No.
Hey, I'm working on this. You guys have things going. You have, and then again, after this is over, you'll have Fall into the Arts coming up in the fall. The back to school thing.
Yes, the summer send off. Yes.
And then COL. And
yes.
then so with that, I guess, when will you start planning for HFF 2027?
Ironically, we get requests after the fireworks are over by a variety of different people saying, hey, you should get, hey, what about?
Sure, for bands, you mean?
For bands,
okay.
Yes. And so that generally starts about that time. And even my production manager from time to time has said, hey, I've thought about this. What do you think about this? But usually we'll really get going on that mid to late August.
For next year?
For next year.
Okay.
And
so 5-6 weeks.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of bands and people and suggestions, what is the number one suggested band that you probably hear the most?
Well, people always want us to get somebody like Taylor Swift
Okay.
or somebody that's just
So are you announcing
off.
right now that next year, 2027, Taylor Swift will be in O'Fallon?
I am denying that statement.
Okay. All right. What is a percentage chance if I was?
Negative.
Okay.
Not even close.
All right. So who do you hear a lot of?
Oh my goodness. Honestly, it's all over the board.
Okay.
It really is. And normally it is a much larger name budget-wise that it's just, there's no way. But also it gets into space. If we've got some artist that is just flying off the charts, we have to think about the space that we can accommodate the people and the influx that would come into the area with parking.
Well, you joke about Taylor Swift. Like, could you imagine?
No.
Like, even let's just say she's like, hey, I will be there. What would this city? I mean, where would you park them? Where would you put them? Like, because it would be, especially for a free concert.
Right. Right. I mean, and that's what you have to think about. So, we have a budget that we need to work within, but then you also need to think of the logistics. And my brain will go to logistics first, foremost, and then right up there is safety.
If
so
Taylor called and said, hey, I want to come to O'Fallon.
Yes.
What would you say?
We would say, oh my gosh, that would be amazing. And then we would be trying to figure out a way to find some very large farm field.
All right. So you're saying you would tell Taylor, we'll have you, but let's work on figuring this out together.
Right.
Kinda.
I'm sure she would have her own team figuring it out, right. And we would just go along.
Okay. So Taylor, if you're listening, you're invited. Right. Okay. So real quick, you've been doing this for over a decade here in O'Fallon.
Yes.
And have done a great job and grown this thing. Heritage and Freedom Fest started off in Civic Park.
Yes.
30 years ago, if not more, and has now outgrown that space and moved from more than 20 years now, been over at Ozzie Smith. What have you seen in the time you've been here and how it's really just taken off?
Like I just said, part of it is a logistic thing for me and streamlining how things come together and just developing those processes. But also the level of talent that we have been able to secure from the very beginning to where we are now with those headliners has grown by leaps and bounds. I think also being able to bring in some more unique opportunities over the years. And what I mean by that is, one year we had a hot air balloon come in and do a glow. That's really never been done before. This brick artist piece is something that's completely different. We've had sand sculptures come in. We have kind of tailored the decor and the look of everything. And just like I said before, the process is trying to make things more entertaining for those who are visiting and making it easier and more accommodating to the people who are visiting the city of O'Fallon.
Sure. Which is why people keep coming.
Yes.
All right. Anything else that we didn't talk about you would like to get out there about HFF itself?
Yes, actually, I do.
All right.
So that is going to be in regards to parking, because parking is always a big topic. People don't know, what some of their options may be. And there is a change this year. So people who have been visiting with us for years and years and years, we do have shuttles that will take people from our free shuttle lots back to T.R. Hughes Boulevard so they can enter into the festival grounds. We're still offering that, and that is on the 3rd and the 4th only.
Okay.
However, Veritas High School, Christian High School, is one of those locations. There's been a name change over the past few years.
Right.
So people did know it as Christian High. It is Veritas now. So that location is still the same for us for catching a shuttle and free parking. The other one this year that is changing is we are not using Fort Zumwalt North High School this year, but we are using the Fort Zumwalt Development Building parking lot this year. It is a much larger lot. There's approximately 300 spaces there, and so we'll have shuttles going to that lot this year because the high school for Fort Zumwalt North, the parking lot is being resurfaced. So literally nobody will be able to park there. So just want to make sure that the public is aware that it'll be the developmental center for the Fort Zumwalt district this year instead of the high school.
Which that building's actually right there on Thomas Jennifer.
Same
actually
side.
A little bit closer to the fairgrounds.
Absolutely.
So if you want to park and walk, you could actually do that as well.
Correct. So that will be probably the most noticeable change, especially for people who have come to this event as part of their tradition. So just want to make sure, we will continue to update pieces as we are receiving that information. This is a relatively new adjustment over the past couple of weeks, so we are in the process of getting that out. So this is a great way for us to start letting the community know, and we'll get our website updated and socials and things of that nature. So give us a little bit, but we're getting the word out there.
Speaking of information being out there, the O'Fallon Parks and Recreation Facebook page every year does an HFF takeover. So
Yes.
if you need any live updates, any information that will be coming out immediately will be coming out of the O'Fallon Parks and Recreation Facebook page.
Yes.
Primarily, there'll kind of be a whole takeover. But also, you mentioned the website earlier. You can go to OFallonMo.gov to get to it, but there's actually a completely separate website
Yes.
just for this 4-day festival, and that is heritageandfreedomfest.com.
Correct.
All your information can be found there. Parking, entertainment, and how to buy your wristbands and do all that kind of stuff can be
Right.
done at one stop.
Yes.
All right, one fell swoop, and you've got it all.
And you're
So,
good to go. One-stop shopping.
anything else, festivals and tourism wide, that you want to kind of maybe hint at or preview for the rest of 26?
I think we have touched on a lot for today, but I can't give away all the secrets. So people just have to come on out and experience it for themselves. But we are definitely gearing up for it, and it'll be a great time.
All right. Sounds good. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here. It's been a ton of information, and I look forward to being out there with you another year as we continue to HFF festivities.
Yes. So. Thank you for having me.
And thank you to everybody listening or watching this podcast. And be sure to hit like or subscribe on your favorite podcast streaming system so you can get notified the next time a podcast drops. And until next time, thank you, and we'll see you at the park.